Rich better have my money. The NCAA has been hit hard by the Supreme Court, who seems to understand that when a person does a job, they deserve to be paid. I'm going to talk about the NCAA's unfortunate ruling in the Supreme Court. It's unfortunate for them, not unfortunate for us. And we're going to talk about the implications of not paying athletes and the racist nature of the NCAA policy of non-compensation for college athletes. So hit the thumbs up button, hit the square share button, subscribe, and all that. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day. And we talk about it from a B1 perspective. B1 means that we are Black first. Doesn't mean you have to be Black to be here, but it does mean you have to understand that we are about our business. We are not about the buffoonery. We're about solving problems. We also believe that in the B1 philosophy that Black people should be our top priority. Our community must be our top priority. B1 also means that we believe we must be one in order to be successful. Also, B1 means we believe we can be number one when it comes to economics and wealth building within the next 50 years. If you agree with that philosophy, put a B1 in the chat, hashtag B and the number one in the chat. What's going on, Ronnie Hunter? My name is Corey, Michael Overton, Brian Payton, Nicole Jones from DC. How you doing? Patrick S. I see you. I see you. I see you. Now, I don't have a lot of time. Right now. My baby's we're about to go running, and we go running and we talk and that's my anti-obesity campaign. I have to go running every 3 miles every 2 days because that's what I call my anti-Roland Martin campaign. If I don't run 3 miles every 2 days, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna start looking like Roland Martin. I don't dislike Roland, but I don't want to look like him, so I do everything I can to keep from getting fat. So I got to get on out of here and do my run. So I can't really talk that long. But give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How many of you heard about the really big Supreme Court ruling that was against the NCAA? How many of you heard about that NCAA ruling by the Supreme Court? That's a very big deal. It's a huge deal. And why is it a big deal? Well, because for 25 years, I have been writing articles saying that the NCAA is full of crap. I've been writing articles since 1996. You can go look it up, look them up. Some of them are on the internet, basically saying something very basic. Something very basic. It's a simple concept. It's not complex. This ain't calculus. The basic idea is that in America, when you do a job, you're supposed to be compensated for it. In America, when you go to work, you're supposed to get paid. In this country, if you're bringing in millions of dollars to a university, they should be breaking you off a little something. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Let me do a quick little straw poll real quick before I read the story. How many of you think, give me a yes or no, how many of you think college athletes should be paid? Give me a yes or no. How many of you think that college athletes should be paid? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. And hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to pull up my other screen. And also let me know if you can hear me, because I want to make sure you guys can hear me as I switch screens here. All right. So here's the story. I'm going to read this to you. I saw it in CNBC. I was real happy about it. It says Supreme Court rules against NCAA in compensation battle with college athletes. The court gave a unanimous win to Division I college athletes in their fight against the NCAA over caps it sought to impose on compensation related to education. The justices voted 9-0 to affirm lower court rulings that prevented the NCAA from restricting payments to athletes for items such as musical instruments or as compensation for internships. Let me tell you a little story. Let me tell you a little story about my days in college. When I was in college, I went to the school, the slave plantation, otherwise known as the University of Kentucky. I call it a plantation because they love to use their Negroes. They didn't hire them to become professors or to run the university, but they would bring their Negroes in the same way they bring in their horses. And they bring in these Negro horses called basketball players. And every year they would use these black people to go win championships. Every year they would bring them in, and they would give them free college tuition, which sure, absolutely, Elva, that is a type of compensation, and they would make $20 million a year in exchange for a scholarship, which cost them pretty much nothing. And I remember that there was a coach. I had this girlfriend in college, and she was a real ugly girl. She was very ugly inside and out. She's a terrible person. This just, you date somebody, you look back and you're like, man, I can't believe I dated you. I could have done so much better. But anyway, so this really ugly girl I was dating, she had an aunt that was a basketball coach. And her aunt, who was the basketball coach for the women's team, One day she's in the car with her aunt. This is a true story, I swear to God. And they're in the car together with a basketball recruit. And the recruit says, "Gosh, I'm really hungry." So this ugly girlfriend I had at the time, and she was ugly. I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you the honest God truth. Y'all know me. I gotta just tell you the truth. This girlfriend reaches back and hands the athlete a Skittle, like two Skittles out of her bag of Skittles. And do you know that her aunt said, "Do not give her Skittles. The NCAA will not allow you to give her any compensation." She said, "I'm not giving her compensation. I'm giving her Skittles." And she still said that that's a violation of NCAA protocol because they're only allowed to feed the animals, excuse me, the athletes. I mean, the animals, I mean, the athletes at certain times of the day. I kid you not. It's just like going to the zoo. You know, you go to the zoo and they say, "Don't feed the bears," right? Because it's bad, right? That's how they do the college athletes. And it's absolutely despicable. It is a horrible system. It is not just exploitative, it is racist. It's one of the worst systems that exists in this society today. It is absolutely terrible. The NCAA is one of the most corrupt organizations in existence outside the United States prison system that has used the loophole in the 13th Amendment to keep black people enslaved, even though slavery allegedly ended 200 years ago. Like you run right here and you're talking about Juneteenth and all this other stuff, or not, well, not 200, 150 or whatever the number is. You're celebrating Juneteenth. You can't celebrate Juneteenth because Juneteenth ain't really happened yet. And also, a lot of your history is a damn lie. Dr. Claude Anderson, in his book, The Black History Reader, I did the video 2 days ago. Go listen to the video. He explains how there were 5 Emancipation Proclamations and none of them were executed properly. None of them had the power to free the slaves. So this idea, this false idea that you were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation is a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. It's just not true. And so anyway, speaking of slavery, when you talk about college athletes, here's the issue, right? When I was at university, I've taught on college campuses for many years. I taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, the Ohio State University, and all these schools had big time basketball programs and big time football programs. All these schools were making tens of millions of dollars a year off of athletes, the majority of whom are black. We know what it is. We know what it is. Now you go over to the soccer team, you know, the lacrosse team, you know, the tennis squad, the golf team. That's when you start seeing the white boys, right? But they ain't bringing in no money. You're not making money from the damn golf team. You're not. No, you're subsidizing the golf team with the money that you're making from the basketball team. You're subsidizing, you're subsidizing women's soccer with the $100 million you made from the football program, and you know where that money comes from. You know what it is. You know where it comes from. That money comes right out of the hood. You taking our reparations and you are using that to pay white boys to play soccer. And then they put in stuff like Title IX saying that all the women's sports have to get the same support as the men's sports. And it sounds so great because it's allegedly gender equity. Well, you know, if you're going to pursue your gender equity, why has it got to be at our damn expense? I'm tired of black men always paying the bills for white women. I don't hate white women. I don't hate anybody. We don't hate people on this platform, but I mean, damn it. How about y'all pay our bills for a change? How about you write that $15 trillion reparations check? How about you do that? Anyway, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Please do that. Please do that right now. Also, the allblackagenda.com. That's a URL you can go to. On that page, I want you to start investing for your family and building wealth. Go to the allblackagenda.com and you can get a copy of my $5 a day investing program totally free. There's an ebook on there. You can take a look. It won't take you long to read, but it will change your life forever. I'm a smart man. I can do that. I can do magic tricks with my brain. So go get that book. You don't have to pay for it. It's totally free. Go to theallblackagenda.com and it will change your trajectory of your family for good. My children are doing the things from the All Black Agenda too. I got my girls on the $5 a day plan also. So the Supreme Court handed a unanimous victory Monday to Division I college athletes in their fight against the National Collegiate Athletic Association over caps it sought to impose on compensation related to education. The court voted 9-0 to affirm lower court rulings that found that antitrust law prevented the NCAA from restricting payments to athletes for items such as musical instruments or as compensation for internships. So they can't even get paid for a damn internship. I mean, come on. It's crazy. The justices rejected the NCAA's argument that it's the players' amateur status. It would be impossible to maintain if they could receive pay even for education-related expenses. Put simply, this suit involves admitted horizontal price fixing in a market where the defendants exercise monopoly control, said Justice Neil Gorsuch. Let me translate that. Let me read the sentence again, then I'm going to translate that to layman's terms. He says, so Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court said this. He said, put simply, this suit involves admitted horizontal price fixing in a market where the defendants exercise monopoly control. Translation, y'all pimping these hoes and it don't make no damn sense. This is illegal. You are running a cartel. A cartel is a term used in economics to describe any group of entities that come together to fix the price of a commodity at the expense of some other party. They are basically doing, imagine if Walmart and Kmart and Target and all the major department stores all got together and said, let's agree that we're never going to pay we're never going to pay our employees more than $10 an hour. The U.S. government would step in and say, you can't do that because that's illegal. That is price fixing. You can't do price fixing in America unless you're doing it to black people. You can't do that sort of behavior is not allowed anywhere except for in the NCAA, where it just happens to be a place where black athletes are being used to the tune of billions of dollars every year. So you are taking billions of dollars out of a community that does not have wealth to give away in the first place. So yes, Jaron, it does translate into slavery. It's not slavery. It's not chattel slavery. It's not slavery from 1685. But this is a type of slavery where you have restricted the options. Slavery is a lack of options. It is a lack of freedom. The athletes do not have the freedom to go from school to school to get a better job or a better economic opportunity because all the universities got together in a cartel and said, let's keep the money to ourselves. That's the issue. The issue is not amateur status. Amateurism can be a beautiful thing. The problem is the hypocrisy. Imagine you and I sitting at the dinner table and there's a pound of chicken. And I take the whole pound of chicken and I eat and I give you like a piece of celery, and you say, wait a minute, I want some chicken too. And I say, no. We that would be greedy for you to eat chicken. And I'm sitting here eating chicken as I'm telling you why you shouldn't be allowed to eat any chicken. You're like, wait a minute, but you're eating chicken. And I say, yeah, but that's beside the point. The point is that eating chicken is bad, and that you shouldn't really be eating all this chicken. We want to keep a light diet here because that we want to preserve the integrity of this meal. We don't want this to be a meal that's gluttonous and unhealthy with too much food being consumed. And you say, but wait a minute, you're eating big, you're eating good. If we were both eating celery, that would be okay. It would be okay if we're both eating celery. Then you could say we in this together. We all gonna starve together. But no, you eating good and I'm getting a piece of celery, man, you can kiss my whole entire ass with that ridiculous argument. What is wrong with you to think that it's okay for you to eat good while I'm eating nothing when I done did all the work? Not only do I deserve to eat the chicken like you, but I'm the one who brought the damn chicken to the dinner table in the first place. I have never seen anybody ever watch a basketball game on TV where they were paying to see the coach. You do not watch NCAA games so because you want to pay to see the administrators. You don't watch NCAA games to pay to see the athletic director. So why is the coach making millions of dollars? Why are the administrators making millions of dollars? Why are the athletic directors making millions of dollars? Why are the commentators making millions of dollars? Why are the corporations making millions of dollars? But the athletes who are doing all the work are getting almost nothing. Now, here's the argument people will make, and I've heard this 1,000 times. I've been on TV a lot talking about this. Actually, for 25 years ago, I started writing about this. And when I was at University of Kentucky, I used to write articles basically as a graduate student who naively thought that if I explained to people why athletes should be paid, that people would actually listen and that it would make sense. And I didn't understand how deep the hustle was. I didn't understand how deep the hypocrisy was. I didn't understand how racism makes people stuck on stupid. That basically that in America, you have a country that things are allowed to be done to black people that are disallowed anywhere else. You're not allowed to do the things to other people that you can do to black people. The government would never allow such a cartel or monopolistic behavior, price-fixing behavior where you're restricting a labor force in that particular way. They would not allow that to happen to white people. They wouldn't allow that to happen to white women, but they'll do it to black people. So here's what used to happen, right? So I used to write these articles. about this. And it was at University of Kentucky. And at that time, we had a coach by the name of Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino was a hell of a coach. This guy used to make big money every year, 5, 10 million a year. I don't know what his salary was. It was something insane. And he had a bunch of black guys who would go win championships for him, and they loved him to death. And I remember that when I wrote my articles about why athletes should be paid, there was one of the coaches who had to sneak one of the players to meet me. He said, there's a guy named Boyce Watkins over in the math department that you should meet because he's a smart guy and he can give you some knowledge that might help you as a black man. So this guy brought a player over. This player's name was Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson went to play for the San Antonio Spurs later on down the line. So he brought Derek to my office to meet me. I swear to God, this is a true story. And he had to sneak Derek to my office. Like he had to sneak him over, like the way you sneak a runaway slave over to the library so he can learn how to read. Because if master finds out the slaves are reading, then he's going to get mad. And Derek told me, I remember Derek told me two things that were very interesting in that conversation. I'm not going to speak for him. I ain't talked to Derek in many, many years, but I hope he's okay with me sharing this. One thing Derek said to me that was really interesting was how the fans at the University of Kentucky were very upset when the starting five was all black. He said that they didn't really like that so much because Kentucky's kind of a school where they're like, we'll tolerate the Negroes as long as they can win us championships. They've changed. They've gotten better, but they're still about 100 years behind everybody else. The second thing that he told me that was really interesting was he said that the coaches do not want us to read your articles. I remember he said that. I'd never forget him telling me that the coaches really don't want us reading what you have to say. And I said, I have to tell you this, man. I said, anybody who wants to restrict your access to knowledge is probably not your friend. Anybody who wants to control the information that you consume is probably on some BS. They're probably filling your brain up with propaganda. They're probably trying to mislead you. I'd never known a pimp who wanted his hoes to be up in the library learning about women's liberation. I've never seen a pimp who wanted his women to be going to college at night. I've never seen a pimp who wanted the ladies to sit and listen to somebody like somebody like Frances Cress Welsing who tells them how wonderful and powerful and amazing and extraordinary they are. So there's a key to pimping, right? There's part of pimping means keeping your people down, keeping them stupid, keeping them ignorant. That's why they work so hard to fill your brains as black people with so much negative propaganda about who you are, because they don't want you to know who you are. They want you to be stupid. They want you to be a day late and a dollar short. That's why you have so many people that want to be stupid and want to be a day late and a dollar short, because the propaganda is working. That's the only way you can control your slaves. The second thing was, I remember that the reason that I became a threat to them, and I became such a threat that I remember the NCAA actually did a CBS special where they invited me in. They called me in my office at Syracuse University because I didn't stop talking about it. I talked about this for many, many years. You can go back to CNN interviews and TV interviews I was doing. I was screaming from the top of my lungs that this is nonsense. This is crazy. I was speaking around the country on this topic. So I'm really happy about this ruling. Now, I remember that CBS called me in my office at Syracuse, and they said something like, they said, hey, Dr. Watkins, we'd like to have you on for a CBS special we're going to do right before the Final Four. And I said, really, what is it? And they said, we want to ask the question, should college athletes be paid? And I stopped and I talked to the guy, the CBS guy, and I said, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to even have that conversation? Like why would you even, that's like a boss talking to his employees and asking him, well, should I have paid you all the money that I didn't pay you for the last 6 months? Like, how does that conversation benefit you? Because you certainly ain't seeking the truth. I mean, you're pimps. Like the NCAA is pimping these kids. Why would they want the truth to get out to the public? Because I don't have to be smart to debate you on this topic. I don't need my PhD to tell you that this is insanity. And I understand it from multiple levels. I understood this issue, and this is what ended up making me a threat on this. I didn't realize it at the time, but now I understand this. 3 areas. One, I can speak on this topic as a college professor. I saw how many of my students were failing their classes because they were trying to keep up with an intensely insane basketball and football schedule. I saw them flunking out because they had to spend more time preparing for their sport than preparing for class. I saw them struggling in class because the coaches had them practicing in the morning, the afternoon, and at night. Well, why wouldn't he? He's got $8 million on the line. The kid ain't getting nothing, but you got this kid spending so much time playing basketball that he's going to leave college not knowing how to read. Then the second thing that I had was I understood this issue from a financial standpoint. With a finance PhD, you cannot do financial acrobatics and some sort of banana in the tailpipe argument to break down and explain to me why you can't pay the athletes. I know you can pay the athletes. I know the money's there, because their argument will always be, well, we can't pay them. The schools aren't making any money. Well, if you can't pay the athletes, then you shouldn't be able to pay the coach. Why is it that you tell me you can't afford to pay the athletes, but you can sign the coach to an 8-year, $100 million contract, but somehow you don't have enough money to pay the athletes? Well, how about we start with taking the money that you're paying the coach and we split that money among the athletes? You'd be getting off cheap, because some of these guys are worth $30, $40 million a year. You'd be getting off cheap. That you're lucky that they would take $250,000 a year and be glad to go and work for you and let you make billions. But instead, you're gonna go down because you're greedy. This is unethical. What is wrong with you? You're gonna punish a starving athlete because he can't buy it, because he's trying to get a bag of groceries. His homeboy brought him a bag of groceries to campus, and somehow that's an NCAA violation. Get out of here with that stuff. You are a crook. That is terrible. Third thing, here's the third area where it was easy to get them, is not only was I a college professor and I saw what this was doing to the students, I saw it as a finance PhD, so I could break down the economics. You couldn't pull these stupid arguments and somehow convince me that there was no money. I know that there was money. And then three, I'm a black man. I'm a black man. And I understand the racial implications of the fact that you have a predominantly white-run organization extracting billions of dollars out of the black community every single year, unapologetically. Do you understand, black people? Do you understand this? In Powernomics, Dr. Claude Anderson talks about something called the doctrine of unequal exchange. The doctrine of unequal exchange is basically how the Europeans ripped off Africa. The doctrine of unequal exchange is how the black community's wealth has not moved up in iota in relative to white wealth since the civil rights movement. They gave you all this social progress, but no economic progress. They gave you all these social movements, but no financial movements. They gave you all kinds of feel-good moments, but no economic assets. That's why your ass and your assets have been sitting still for the last 50 years. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Give me a yes if you're following what I am saying here. So the doctrine of unequal exchange is one of the things that is killing black wealth. When they are taking your athletes are one of your most cherished commodities. Countries grow, empires rise based on having a commodity that the world desires. When you created hip hop music out of the South Bronx, that was your commodity. That was your multi-trillion-dollar come up. That was your opportunity. And we didn't see it as an opportunity. We just wanted to go party and dance. And this thing, somebody else is getting rich off of something we create. Well, your athletes are also your multi-trillion-dollar power play. The black athlete is the most extraordinary specimen in the history of mankind. There is no there's nothing on earth that matches the black male athlete in America. Nothing. Where does it come from? I think it comes from all that craziness that happened in slavery. I think it comes from the fact that we are the strongest of the strong. We survived the slave dungeons. We survived the Middle Passage. We survived 250 years of the most brutal slavery known to man. We survived Jim Crow. We survived mass incarceration. Now we're surviving whatever nonsense they're trying to do to us right now. Right? We survived all of that. That makes us special. There is no white male. Give me a yes or no. Have you ever seen a white male version of Michael Jordan? Who's the white male Michael Jordan? There is none. Have you ever seen a white male version of LeBron James? Who's the white male version of LeBron? The 6'8" super athletic specimen who can get down the court like quick as a cat, whose mind is super sharp, who knows how to do all kinds of amazing things on the court, can jump out of the gym. There is no white male Michael Jordan. Where's the white male Shaquille O'Neal? I'm big as a damn ox, and could get down the court like a ballerina and pull the rim down after he dunks on you. Could probably have played professional football if he wanted to. Where's the white male version of Shaquille O'Neal? Where's the white male Wilt Chamberlain? There is none. There is none. So your athletes are part of your treasure, and they're stealing your treasure away through systematic racism coming from an NCAA system that allows them to make themselves rich and to keep your family poor. There should be no family that has a guy in the family who's 6'8", 240 pounds, who played football or basketball at the University of Alabama and won a championship, where his mama is still living in the goddamn projects. Who the hell came up with that? It's simple, y'all. It's not complex. The NCAA is robbing black people. That's what it is. So stop screaming Black Lives Matter. That's fine. We know Black Lives Matter. You ain't got to remind me of that. How about we talk about Black Money Matters? There's a group in St. Louis that has a group called Black Money Matters. Look them up, blackmoneymatters.org. I think that's their website. I ain't talked to the brother in a while, but I'm going to give him a shout out. He came up with that, not me, but that's common sense too. Black Money Matters. So get your money, black people. The NCAA is stealing it. It's ridiculous. That's it. I'm done talking, guys. I got to go run with my baby. We're about to go do our run. I'm actually speaking in Philadelphia this week. There's an NFT. There's an NFT panel I'm going to sit on at the studio with Jay Ortiz. I'm going to announce that soon. I'm going to put that. I'm going to email that out. So if you want to get the information, actually, get on our email list, and also you can pick up a free e-copy of my book. Go to firstsharestock.com. And get on our email list. We'll send you free information on how to invest, how to build your wealth, all that stuff. I'll also email the information out about the event in Philadelphia. It's going to be Wednesday night at 8:00. It's going to be at Jay Ortiz's art studio. Let me pull this up. Hit the thumbs up button while I get this information in case you guys don't have it yet. Let me see. Jay just sent it to me. Yeah, it's the address is 2623 West Girard Avenue. And so what I'm going to do is actually copy this. So I'm not doing a lot of public events, but this is what I'm going to do. I wish I could put it in the chat. I don't know how to put it. I can't put it in the chat. But anyway, it's in Philadelphia. So get on the email list if you want some free stuff. And also I'll send out information about the event in Philly. It's going to be Wednesday night. So hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button before you go. I'm out of here, and I'm not trying to be mad at the NCAA. But, I tell you, it's time for that nonsense to end. Thank you, Nick, for typing in that address. I appreciate that. Yeah, Nick just typed it in there. So there it is. It's right there on the screen. I appreciate all of you that have our back. I know that I'm crazy. I know that I yell a lot. But just know that it's because when the smarter you get, the more pissed off you get, because you start seeing what's wrong with the world. And also it makes you a weirdo, because sometimes you see things 50 years before everyone else, and everyone thinks you're crazy until they figure out the truth. So hopefully my brand of crazy works for you. And for all the other crazy black folks out here, I love you. I appreciate you. Keep being crazy. Don't let the insanity of the world make you even more insane by going along with this nonsense, because we know the difference between right and wrong. So God bless you. Hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Love you. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.